obviously, with the non-conference schedule. Talk a little bit about how you tell your team how good Middle Tennessee State is and what type of test it'll be.
Well, they know how good Middle is just from watching the NCAA tournament last season and seeing the way they really dominated the game for 40 minutes in the win over Michigan State, a team a lot of people had picked to win the whole thing. So our guys have a lot of respect for Middle Tennessee. While we have a bunch of newcomers, we've either scrimmaged or played them in a regular season game every year since I've been here. So very, very familiar with their team. They have very talented personnel, extremely well coached, really mix up their defense as well. And we'll definitely have to be clicking on all cylinders tomorrow night.
The fact that you played them last year and you're not just, the guys aren't basing everything off of what they saw from that one NCAA tournament game against Michigan State last year, does that help in preparing for this team because they have a lot of the same guys back?
I think so. I mean, really just though for Bryce, DeMarcus, and maybe Breon, really the only three who played in that game, along with G. McGee. To these other guys, it's really about them understanding, hey, that was great. Friday night was great. What a fun way to open the season. But that's over and done with. And as Ed mentioned, the way the schedule sets up, there's really not a whole lot of time to celebrate. So we got right back to work on Saturday and preparing for Middle. And we'll have to be ready to go. I mean, I think if you always look at a Kermit Davis Middle Tennessee team, they're going to be physical, tough, extremely athletic. And we'll have to be ready to really compete for 40 minutes if we want to have an opportunity to win.
Against Illinois State, you outscored them by 18 points from the three-point line. Is that something that's going to be a point of emphasis for your team this year?
Well, I think it always is. I think the three-point line is extremely important. We obviously took a lot, but that's the way Illinois State defended us. Fortunately for us, in the second half, you go 9 for 18 from 3.5. You're going to have a good chance to win the game. But we only gave up 6 made threes. If you look at those 6, one was the half-court prayer where the guy traveled before the half. The other was 2 we gave up in transition where we just did a poor job of matching up. So I thought we did a really nice job defending the arc on Friday. And it'll be huge tomorrow night because Giddy Potts from Middle Tennessee, nation's leading three-point shooter last year. So we know we'll have to be ready to defend him among others.
Bryce mentioned that, just talking about how he expects to see Breon really match up well against Reggie, DeMarcus really match up well against Giddy, but that it'll be a team effort defending the basketball. Like how do you sell that to your other players and tell them, look, these guys are that inside-outside game is really tough?
Well, I think it's always about team defense. Obviously, every night out, one guy is going to get that assignment to guard the other team's best player in the backcourt and front court. But Ja'Cory Williams, the Arkansas transfer from Middle, he's a stud, athletic, 6'8", high motor. We'll have to really lock in on him as well. They bring great shooters off the bench. So it's always about team defense. Middle Tennessee does a great job executing their half-court offense. So it's not going to be every man for himself. If it is, we'll be in trouble because there are multiple screening actions we have to defend. We have to really communicate well on defense. And then, as always, when you're playing a Middle Tennessee team, you better finish the possession with box outs. We'll have to do a really nice job on the glass.
After going back and looking at the game tape from Friday night's game, did you see anything new that you didn't see immediately from that game?
No, it was what I expected. I mean, we're going to be a work in progress. We didn't have much experience out there on the floor, so we made some really some poor decisions at the defensive end of the floor, just where we made some mistakes in our ball screen coverage, our defensive transition coverage that we have to clean up if we want to be any kind of good basketball team this year. But as we try to overcome these mistakes that we're making here early and we get better as a team, as long as the effort's relentless, as long as the energy and the team chemistry's there, you can start to overcome some of those mistakes as we were able to do on Friday night.
What about McGee? Is he available tomorrow night?
Still day to day, and I know I give you the same answer every day, but he had a good ankle sprain. I shouldn't say good, but a solid ankle sprain. No damage still, but he's back running now. He's back light running. But I don't know if we'll be able to have him ready to go tomorrow night. Still day to day. We'll see how he is today at practice. But as I said last week, my whole concern with G right now, as critical as he is to our success and our depth, is that I don't want to put him out there at 60% and then this becomes a lingering issue all season long. It's November the 14th. We need to get him back close to 100% before we put him back out on the floor.
You having such a new roster and then having quite the opposite, where do you see the advantages for you in terms of that?
Well, for us, I hope our ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter will become a consistent thing for us. And we went 3 for 15 from the arc in the first half, which is not very good, but I think the second half was more in line with what we're capable of doing, shooting the basketball. I hope our two-point guard attack will continue to be something that'll be difficult to defend. I mentioned it after the game. When we went into the half, we were down 3, but our two-point guards were 1 of 13 from the floor, and Terrell Miller hadn't played much due to foul trouble. So I felt pretty good with where we were at. And then overall, we just got to continue to develop our depth. Middle Tennessee is a very deep team. They'll play 11 guys, so we have to be able to match that depth tomorrow night.
Doug,
This being the start of a road trip, is this, even though it's early in the season, is this a stretch where you think you're going to learn a lot about your team?
I just think the way the schedule's set up, we're going to learn a lot about our guys every night out. And I think Friday was a great experience for us. Really had a chance to roll over and take a double-digit loss at home when we were down 7 with 3 to go. But our guys stayed the course. They kept fighting and made the plays necessary to win the game. Now you go on the road against an experienced team that's picked to win Conference USA. Be this first road trip for majority of these guys. So it'd be a heck of a test for us. And you look at the weekend, and we're going to go play 3 games in 3 days, which will be another way we're going to test the guys. So really don't have many easy nights out there, but that's what you want. If you're a competitor, that's the way you want the schedule. And so our guys, it's set up for them to go compete against great teams and see how good we can be.
Do you feel like it helps your team that you guys had to play a conference favorite or one of the conference favorites the very first night? The very first night Middle Tennessee kind of came out to, we'll call it a cupcake, but an easy, let's get comfortable with our season type of win?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully that helps us in our favor. But at the end of the day, I think the big thing we try to sell to our guys, what happened yesterday doesn't matter in college basketball. Every game's its own deal. Every game's an opportunity to go compete and get better. And that's our whole thing right now. We got to get better. I mean, I'm thrilled we won on Friday. But there are a lot of areas that we need to make tons and tons of improvement on at all 3 facets of the game, from offense, defense, and special teams. So, hopefully our guys got some confidence for the way they finished on Friday night, and we can carry that over to tomorrow.
Do you see it as a significant advantage that you have history against this team and that no one has much history against our new roster?
No, I don't think so. I think Middle's a very experienced team. They've won a lot of games. Coach Davis has won 400 and something games throughout his coaching career. So I'd say they have a nice advantage there. And again, talent, experience, all that stuff's fun to talk about. At the end of the day, it's going to be Murray State and Middle Tennessee tomorrow night for 40 minutes and 2 great programs and see who comes out on top. I don't think what's happened in the past or any of that really matters. It's a great opportunity for our program to go on the road and compete against a great team.